MakingStarWars.net.
Hi, Internet. I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.com, and it's Rob the Ghost.
Hey,
How's it going,
the
Rob?
ghostest with the threadest, the mostest, whatever. Hey, where's Best been? Is he on Threads?
Yeah, he's on Threads.
Isn't he?
He's on Threads. I was on Threads like all night last night. I went saw Indiana Jones again because I was like, I took my daughter to see it the first time, and she fell asleep, not because she didn't like it, because she was a little kid. And she was like, let's go see it again. And I was like, all right, I want to go to the drive-in, because I've seen them all in the drive-in before, like over the years. And I was like, you know what? Just kind of want to round it out. Saw all the Harrison Ford ones in the drive-in. So we went.
I mean, it's 190 degrees. I'll go to the drive-in.
No, you know what? That's what we thought. We bought like little chairs and everything. We were gonna pull the Prius backwards and open the back so we could hear, all that stuff. And it was like 55 degrees out there last night. It got really cold for some reason. But anyways, we sat in the car. It was a nice time. And I texted you. I'm like, what's rad about seeing it in the drive-in is just like that little window in front of your self in the screen, and just the environment. That opening to Indy looked perfect.
Because
you're the best viewing,
and it's low quality, right? Like,
I mean, I was up front, but I mean, you're right. I mean, it's you lose like, I'd say you lose like 15% at a drive-in, but you get the environment,
Not just Indy though. I'm saying in general, Jason, like visual effects will look better if you put some grain on that fucking.
Yeah,
thing. Put some grain on that thing,
Put some grain on that thing, Dave Filoni.
Yeah, I've been hanging out with
Come on,
Filoni too much, man. But it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was an article, dude. I don't remember if we covered it, and I read it on LRM, and I remember we recently covered it, but I was like, you know what? If we did, oh well, maybe
What's
you missed
LRM?
that show. Latino Review.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you know them.
Yeah, Umberto used to be there, and then the fanboy Mario Robles, he used to be there too.
And Mario Van Peebles too. People don't know that Mario Van Peebles.
He's a good dude. He's not one of those dudes starting shit on that. He's one of those responsible DC fans, versus the psychotic,
Mario Van Peebles.
No. No. Mario Van Peebles is the motherfucker who went in there with the Kurgan impersonation for Highlander 3 and pissed Rob off for fucking 90 minutes, The movie I couldn't leave because I got dropped off in the middle of El Cajon with no way to get back to my part of town, so I was stuck watching him do a Kurgan impersonation. Right. What are you doing, Mark? He's not Clancy Brown. Just be Mario Van Peebles.
This one summer, like my theater had that was struggling. It was like a Regal, and they were like, hey, if you give us, $20, you could come see a movie all day on like these 3 days out of the summer week. And we're like little kids, we're like, oh, we'll definitely get that out of it. I don't even know if it was $20. So let's just say
this was a Regal as well.
It was a Regal, yeah.
When they had that shitty roller coaster CGI opener when you go in there.
Yeah.
The lamest of all movie intros ever.
But on this day though, we saw like a bunch of movies, and RoboCop 3 came out. And I remember
Robert Burke.
I loved RoboCop 1 and 2. Like those were, I was like, these are fucking movies, you guys. These are serious. And I'm like, Nuke is on the streets and it's a problem. And then RoboCop would show up and deal with it, right? But
it had the cool CGI, stop motion robot,
But I remember when he started flying, when RoboCop started flying in that one, I wanted to go home, and I couldn't, because there was a game for on another 3 or 4 hours of movies. Yeah.
There was a game out on the Genesis at the time called eSWAT.
I
want to say it was eSWAT that had a very similar style backpack, and I was like, motherfuckers just ripped off eSWAT.
Oh, really?
It's like the predecessor to Streets of Rage, eSWAT. Like it's an unofficial, it's like unofficial prequel to Streets of Rage.
Maybe it was the same designer by some chance. Do you think that's possible? Or
no, I think they were just playing games and stole that shit, dude.
They were
the same way that every game was ripping off James Cameron for their covers. Like if you go look at the first Metal Gear cover, it's clearly fucking.
It
hits,
was
hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, did you ever like the video game Narc back in the day? Did you ever play Narc?
It was that game. I wanted to like and hated it, but if you had a good friend, you could play it. It was funner in the arcade. The NES port was you needed the digitized graphics to make that work. When it became shitty pixels, it was just like trying to control that car was hilarious. Like
the Pixies, for some reason, back then when Narc was new, did a cover of it, like a really good song.
It's like Susie and the Banshee doing a cover of Tetris.
Yeah, yeah, no, exactly. And it was like it was like a B-side, and I was just like, wow, that's so weird, but pretty rad at the same time.
Someone complained in our comments yesterday. Mm-hmm. So what's the fucking news about? So it's just about Twitter? Yeah, so I chimed in. No, man, it's about As a Truth Social.
As a Truth Social, bro. Yeah. I'm liking Threads a lot. I'm liking it. It's not perfect. It doesn't have everything that we need at the moment, but according to their like list that they've shared, it's good. And
at this point, if it does Elon Musk harm, I like it.
If that's fair.
I'm being really petty about this.
We got
I know it's another billionaire asshole. He had a whole movie. I know.
A couple of them country bumpkins who like a real strong man and fucking their sisters got real mad about our Elon Musk comments last night. Made a video about us. Oh, darn.
About us?
I do.
Did he bring up my Filoni clip?
Well, not
and
about
here he had a Dave Filoni make him.
They're like, fans are mad at Elon about Ahsoka. It's like, are you too fucking stupid to understand the premise of it? That there was going to be a trailer,
I'm not a fan.
Video, and then there wasn't one.
But I'm not a fan, so you could just start with that one.
Well, I wouldn't thank them for being a fan, because they like to think about me all the time, and I always get their people that go like, the Alabama fucking Sisters fucking Association of Star Wars fans mentioned you, and I'm just like, yeah, you serious, bro?
See, Jason, here's the thing. I don't much like most Star Wars movies, it seems. I was doing the count, you know? Right. I actually like less Star Wars movies than Star Wars movies made. Ooh, but
fake fan.
I love the making of Star Wars, which is why I'm on Making Star Wars. So I'm a fan of how it gets made. But at this point, I'm like 60. I'm like 40% in on a 60.
By the way, Rob, 40, you know, 60. Right now, Kathleen Kennedy's watching this very broadcast, and she just crossed arms and said, "That's a tough customer."
He's not part. She said something, and I was like, "You fucking nerd." She was on the interview. No, she was on the interview with Frank Marshall. They did an interview with Empire Magazine, right, recently, in audio, and she was saying about how they were getting that. He's like, "Hey, you got the band back together," and she's like, "Well, we're like family. We were home." Mm-hmm. And I'm like, "Oh, don't."
They're all like a family on that set, Rob.
We're home, right? She was throwing the "we're home."
Sometimes your family goes on strike against you, right? Because that's what it's like.
If you're a fan of The Force Awakens, you're obligated to cry anytime someone says we're home. You have to do it.
Remember yesterday how, like, I think it was yesterday when Bespin was on, and I was like, yeah, but SAG ain't saying shit. There's no articles about SAG out there. Remember that, like, yesterday? I'm like, SAG's just quiet. I think that SAG's just waiting for everything to roll downhill and then deal with it. But yesterday, SAG, the little emails went out to everybody saying, we have decided to move forward, like, into strike mode. So...
Strike mode.
Obvious, but strike first, strike hard, strike fast. Strike mode.
Dude, they should put on the shirts before to go strike mode, before they strike. And then they switch out shirts, strike hard. Right?
but you know what? You know why that's like a big deal right now, though? For Star Wars anyways, is that like Andor's not done filming. So if SAG strikes before Andor's done.
But Lucas isn't in the Screen Actors Guild, and since he bought Star Wars, he can just do whatever he wants.
No, it's not true.
He's not in the Directors Guild. He's not in any of the guilds. He can just do whatever he wants.
It turns out he was talking to his Alexa, and he wanted a monopoly on Star Wars, and he ordered a Star Wars Monopoly board. And then he was mad that Mace Windu's not even in the Boba Fett show. Why did they do that? So
it's because Jet painted his Alexa to look like a little R2, and he just talks to it now.
That's what he does.
Keeps it busy.
He doesn't know.
He likes it. It's no harm, no foul.
Yeah. But so anyways, though, and I keep wondering, will that be a good thing or a bad thing? Obviously, it could delay the show, like when we get it by some degree, depending on how long it goes. But what if that happens and then it allows Gilroy to get back in and fix the things that he would have done had he been there?
But then they're spending money. They can't spend. See, the problem is they're spending too much money.
Mm-hmm.
See, fans won't be happy with something unless they found out it was the perfect thing that had lightsabers and it spent the right amount of money. Now that's the other criteria for fans.
Well, because
they
we're
found
all
something
stockholders.
Spent too much money. Yeah, we're all. Jason, I've been hearing this. I got fucking 7 friends are telling me these movies are spending too much money. I'm like, you just repeat every fucking thing you hear.
You know why, Rob? They like a good deal. They like a bargain and like a good deal.
How much did they spend on that Gollum game, you think?
Well, the
Gollum game? Have you seen this?
One of the things about Indiana Jones, for instance, I'm not justifying that budget either. That one's pretty egregious, but we don't really know if in that budget, something just worth considering is if the tax credits and the write-offs that they get for going to the UK and using that space are included in that. So there is always
the payoffs, Jason.
The payoffs, yeah. Well, I mean, no, they get like pretty. There's a pretty big, thing.
But then they throw it back at the shelves,
and
right? So they don't really save the money.
I heard something else that I don't know if it's true because I haven't got to look into it. But it was somebody in the industry, and they're like, Indies just fronting the bill on the year of studio time that nothing used there, right? And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah. So I haven't looked into that. But that's if you think about it, because remember there was supposed to be like other Star Wars films being made at the time and stuff like that kind of stuff.
So it apparently absorbed the cost.
And then most likely they rented that space out, but they still have to pay for it. So
this I fall under COVID protocol issue. This is COVID issues. So I think the same thing when they had to shut down Mission Impossible for a while too. That studio space was still. It's not like they go, you get a break until you come back. Like that's still on the tab, And when you think about it, like I was rewatching the Deep Challenger 3D documentary. The 2D one's for free on YouTube if you want to watch it. James Cameron bit. But there was a point when they were trying to get the sub working, and he had a ship out at dock, and he's like, that ship's sitting there, fucking $1,000 a day, just sitting there. And it's like, and I know they didn't get into it in that thing, but I know from subsequent interviews it probably sat there for like a week or two because they were just rushing to get shit done right, and it's like it just sits there accruing. So when the crews are, how many productions, not just Indie or Mission, but how many COVID productions did incur additional budgets due to just people sitting there during the breaks and the delays, we don't know. They never tell you, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, when you look at the reported budget for Indie, you're like, oh, that is too much money, though. And like,
that's how I feel about your Fortnite budget, Jason. No, you tell me what you spent on Fortnite. Because I'm like, this is too much of the Making Star Wars budget going to Fortnite.
Here's the difference. Here's the difference. Is what ends up happening is that would be like I'm buying Fortnite skins, and now we've gone down to 480p on the show, because that's what I'm afraid of here. Is that when they go to reboot Indie, quality. When they go to make a new Indie or the next Star Wars movie, instead of it costing $200 million like it should, it gets 150 million, and we're just like, that's what I'm afraid of, because it does look like
cut out characters like Teddy.
When you look at like how, I don't think it's exactly the same, so this isn't the best analogy. But like when you look at like the summer of '89, how much movies made, even adjusted with like inflation, to like how many people were going to the movies, it was a lot smaller. And right now it's feeling like it's a lot smaller in general. Like
but they still had the home video market and the streaming, streaming paid.
That's what I'm saying. It's not the best it's not the best analogy. But what I think I'm going with this is look at how much Batman '89 like was budgeted for initially. Like it feels like those kinds of budgets are likely to come back, and I don't know if that works for Star Wars if you're pumping them out. Like I don't know if you can do Star Wars on $150 million budget or whatever it happens to be. I'm not sure. So it's going to be
one puppet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
You get a pod race, but you just get one lap. That's it.
Yeah,
one lap.
Look, people in 1999 would have begged for a one-lap pod race. They were complaining at the time. Yeah, it's too long.
And then he made it longer.
3PO even complains about it in the movie. They gotta go 2 more times.
Oh my god! Yeah, it's. I always thought that was funny too, because like George and Irvin Kershner, we're always taking out lines and improv moments of them saying this is boring. Like when they're waiting in the space cave or the space slug on an Empire and stuff, like Leia would go like, "This is boring," and they'd be like, "No, you can't say that because then the audience is going to feel like this is boring." So they were very careful with the language of like the frustrations that the characters were going through in those scenes, for instance. And it's like in that moment right there, you like literally have 3PO doing it, but doing the same flaw, but from a different kind of perspective. I thought that was funny.
He's literally doing what critics are complaining about.
Yeah. But it's supposed to be, oh my God, we have to keep up at this intensity with this danger. That's what Lucas thought. Right. That's what Lucas thought he was saying. And but the cynics could easily see that in a different light. But anyways, yeah, Epic NPC Epic Battle says Indiana Jones had a 25% tax incentive, and it actually cost around $225 million. That's what some sources are reporting. I'm still not convinced either or any of this is on the nose 100%. You know what I mean? Like, but let's just say if that is true, if the Indiana Jones really is a $225 million movie, that's a lot better than the deadline $330 million that was reported recently, right? But that might be 225 before marketing.
Look, here's the thing. So if the fucking movie only makes $300 million and it needed to fucking make 3 to 4 times what that means they could spend 70. They have to spend Deadpool money on Indiana Jones, $70 million to $90 million.
Yeah.
Right. And at that point, I'm like, all right, will it make 40 million then when you spend 90? Because people are like, this looks cheap. Like, what is is there ever a sweet spot? I always think like, at the end of the day, man, whatever you do, try to get people who go, I wouldn't see this, but I'd see this version of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing you got to keep in mind, no matter what the budget is, big or small. Yeah. I've worked on indie games. I've worked on AAA games, man.
Wait,
and like
Indiana Jones?
Yeah, I know, right? Independent video games. Gotcha. And like crews of like 2 people, 4 people, and then crews of like 40 to 50 maybe, I don't know, it could have been 100 people. It was probably like 40, 50 people. But like, actually, technically I worked on Overwatch too, so that might have been 100 people. I didn't want to interact with those people. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is you want people, when they look at whatever you're doing, to go, I'm not into Indiana Jones, but I want to see that. If you make something where you go, well, I'm not Indiana Jones and I don't care about that, you kind of like, you want to capture the people who normally wouldn't go see it. That doesn't mean you don't capture your audience who wants to see it. But you have to hit this point where you get a certain you go beyond the expectation, and if you meet expectations, then anything's a gamble. But I always think that's the position I like to be in as a creator, man. Just make something that you go, I'm not into that, but I'd watch this one,
Mm-hmm.
But they're all striving for that. It's not like anyone on that production was like, fuck it,
Right.
They were all striving for that. But, whatever.
Hey Ben, how's it going? Ben asked, do you guys think they're going to scale the budget back on Disney shows more towards like the first or second season of The Mandalorian? The first seasons were still expensive because they were doing all of the research into it. It wasn't really cheaper.
Mm-hmm. The biggest complaint I've heard about the Disney Plus shows, whether it's Star Wars or Marvel, is that there aren't enough episodes. So if you want more episodes, how's spending less money going to get you there? They're only doing 6 episodes at this point.
Right.
So you want like a 90-minute, you want like an hour-long 90-minute mini movie?
Right.
You can't do a 22 episode, 12, 13 episode long season at less money.
Yeah, I don't like the idea like on some of the modern shows, especially with films coming back, that we don't get deeper character work. Like in Boba Fett, for instance, where there was absolutely no character work, and it's like this should have just been a movie. If you're not going to do that, if it's going to be like that shallow of like, here's the guy, here's what he is, this is him, that's that, go. That's not TV show material. Like I think like characters being put through the ringer and changing and stuff is probably better for the TV shows going forward, and it will probably get people hooked on it more in the big picture too. And I think you could also do that for cheaper sometimes. Because it's not
why Andor stood out to some folks because it felt more character based, But then you got those Santas out there who are like, I don't want characters, I just want action figures.
That's okay. That's okay. No, but NBC Battle says Harrison Ford only got 15 million. See, Harrison Ford got his fee, but Harrison Ford since the very start has like huge points on the film. If you could go back and you could look at how much he made from Crystal Skull, which I won't try to quote the number right now, but it ended up being a ridiculous amount of money because they got that far into the production and the way his deal was set up. So Ford still gets a lot of money, and he gets money on the back end too, as does Paramount. So it's like, I don't know at what point Disney sees money from this movie, but the one thing I will say is they, unlike other films, we know that this series is a classic and will never go away. So this film will become profitable for that corporation eventually. Without a doubt, it will be. It just will, because it'll be in a box set that ends up, the fifth movie ends up making that box set go up an extra $20, and it ends up paying for itself. So I think to some extent that's why they are probably okay with doing it this way, knowing what the worst case situation could be, which is kind of what happened almost so far. But strangely, last night, I don't think this has any bearing on the box office, the big picture. But when I went to the drive-in last night, it was pretty full. It wasn't full, but it was pretty full. You know what I mean? I was kind of surprised.
Trying to save some money, man. You know.
But I also expected, like, just based off of the other ticket sales, that there wouldn't be very many people there, and there actually was. But yeah, it makes sense. I mean, and that's the whole thing. Is like, I'm thinking about doing Oppenheimer and Barbie at the drive-in, because like it's like $13 as opposed to around $50, you know, or something in the end. So
I saw Poltergeist 2 at the drive-in. That chainsaw.
God is in the holy temple. That guy,
the floating chainsaw that fucked me up.
Oh, remember when he drank the worm? Remember when he drank the worm?
Yeah, the tequila worm.
That was I had that on a trading card. I used to collect like horror trading cards, and I had that on a trading card. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I like Poltergeist too. It's a shitty movie, but it's a rad shitty movie, you know?
Yeah, I like it more than Tremors.
Like that's a weird. I mean, why Tremors? Like what did Tremors do? Tremors,
Jason,
like, hey,
this
man,
is how my brain works.
I'm a grab boy, bro.
Works. I don't plan this out. All right, this is not me writing material. This is
Rob is brain jazz, just free form, baby.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Natasha asked a good question. Do you guys know something about Poe being in this movie? No, I don't think, honestly, Poe is somebody I'm not expecting to be in this film in particular. Of most of the characters. I mean, I would love to see Poe. I'd love for Poe to get his own film too.
What if we just get his voice and he reprises his cartoon character? Like we don't get a live action because he's busy. You know,
Rob,
the voice.
That's a bad idea, Rob. That idea.
But it would appeal to the Spider-Verse fans. I mean, we got to shake it up, Jason. You know.
Nope.
This is a boring ass saga now.
Yeah, but no, I think Oscar Isaac is a really, really good actor, and I would love to see Poe like get something else, and in a lot of ways, I actually like him. I probably like Poe the best of those sequel trilogy characters, to be honest with you. But that said, right now all we got is Daisy that we know of. And there's rumors about Finn, and there's stuff about like I've heard people say like, oh yeah, like they considered Finn or whatever, and here's like there was some proof of it or something. I don't want to get into details, but all of it to me at this point is like I don't think they like know. But what I find interesting about the story is that with the strikes and the holdup, if he wasn't in the film, if he hasn't been in the film, or if he has a point to be in the film. And they didn't get him. I think now is the time when they would get him. Now is the time when they have the ability to launch like a lot of effort into, how do we work with him and how do we get him back and how do we appease him, because that's the other thing is he's done 3 Star Wars movies, so he's got the clout doing more Star Wars movies. I think when you do like a trilogy of Star Wars films, it's probably a good idea. I think when you go beyond that, that's when your career starts to look like Star Wars actor John Boyega, not actor John Boyega. So I could see why he would want to like run right back into it. At the
Pacific
same
Rim 2
time,
didn't do it, huh?
yeah, Pacific Rim 2 didn't really hit. I think They Clone Tyrone is kind of getting mixed reviews right now.
Good
And
name.
it's a great name. Great name. It might be a great movie. I have a great show. Is it a movie? It's a show. It's a movie, right? It's a
I thought
Netflix
it was a
movie.
movie.
I can't remember now.
I thought it was a
But
movie.
yeah, but I'm gonna watch it. I mean, just because I like the title. But and I like John Boyega. But that said, yeah, I think that he will likely be back at some point. I honestly believe 100% they will all be back eventually. I don't think anybody is above anything, and I think if you've already done it, you did it knowing damn well this is great because I might be able to do this for my whole life, like if I need it. And at certain points, they like do need it. And the thing about Finn is this is where I don't buy the discourse around the Finn thing. I think it's industry discourse. I think it's industry like, I'm going to posture that I'm difficult so that way I have more cards to play when we get down to bargaining. I think that's all that it is, because that guy likes Star Wars more than the people who made the last Star Wars films.
He brought his action figure to set.
He had Harrison Ford sign his stuff. Like, I know that's a bit of PR-y kind of like, oh my God, I'm just a fan like you guys kind of bullshit. But the guy was playing Battlefront and stuff. He really likes it,
He took control of Pacific Rim. The dude's a nerd.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
Be honest,
So
like, he didn't try to make like Shaft too, Like,
no. I think that I think he will be back, and like, but you know what, and I want him to come back. But what I do hope is that they don't get him back, and then it works itself out, and that first film doesn't have him. That way we got the next thing with him, because that's like the other side is like, you could just like blow. They could just go out there and blow the whole load about all of the potential of that 15 years later moment. They could do it in one film, and then just be like, well, now this whole thing is tired, and there we are. But like, if Finn is out there and he's not part of it, then that could be interesting. And if like the rumor was the whole time that it was like two dark-skinned actors were going to be playing Rey's Padawan, a girl and a boy, and at one point an older male in his 30s, and so on like that. And it's like, but then the parameters of the role changed, and now it sounds like they are late teens, teenagers to like late teens or something like that. And when we get to that 15-year mark out, is one of these Finn's kid or something? Like, that's something that's worth considering. It's not to be like the old guy who every time sees a black person in Star Wars goes, that must be Lando's son. Not to do
Plus,
that.
we don't need to perpetuate the absentee father.
Well, no, this doesn't. But this doesn't mean it's an absentee father trope. If the kid's 15, has the Force, and he sends the kid with to Rey, if like Rose and
it could be,
Rose
why doesn't
Finn,
he teach him? Why doesn't he learn him from Rey too?
Yeah.
Like, I'm already telling you where it's gonna go. Dude.
Oh yeah, but even at that, if we wanted to move into like new organization right there, like I would say it would be better if like, let's say you have kids and I got kids, right? I think it's better to send my kid to you to learn how to draw than me to teach them if we were of equal talent, because of the relationship difference. Like, I don't, and with the rules in Star Wars and with attachment and that kind of stuff, I think it would make sense that you wouldn't train your own kid, that he would send his kid to be trained by Rey as opposed to himself, that kind of stuff. But, I'm saying they could make it work if they want to, and without it being like, a bad thing or something like that. But, I mean, that's the only thing I could think of about why go 15 years out, though. Because when you say 15, you're like, wow, that feels really far. But what's the real difference between 10 and 15 in a made-up era that's undefined? So that's where I start going, well, that would allow offspring of those characters to be in their like mid-teens, which is when they could be heroes, but still not responsible enough to not answer to Rey, Finn, and Poe, that kind of stuff. But anyways,
Finn got a real girlfriend, not Rose. Like, he got like,
I don't know. I think Rose is pretty hot, actually.
That's not what I said.
You said a real girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's
a fake made up. Not a.
Tran's a real woman. Just so you know,
huh?
She's a real woman.
Not a figment of Ryan Johansson's imagination. Like, I mean, what if he got like a real like sliced noodle? You know what I mean? Like, he went out. He's like, I'm tired of humans.
That's fair. Yeah. I just think, Finn's like, look, listen, we're just friends because of these fucking yellow jumpsuits you keep wearing. They look really stupid. And she's like,
She's got to
okay,
stop with the Pippi Longstocking thing. So.
that's fair too. Yeah, that's fair too.
She's
But
not doing anyone any favors.
well, that's why I thought in 3 they could have done just so many more. I know JJ clearly just wasn't interested because he wants to appease everybody. He's like, oh,
should have gave her a helmet, right?
No.
Finn likes helmets.
Yeah,
Poe likes helmets. Like, give her a chicken
No.
helmet. That's a JJ taught me.
No.
Put a big helmet on him, and then
Yeah, but anyways, so here is the LRM story. In an unexpected twist, this is from LRMonline.com. In an unexpected twist, rumors have surfaced suggesting that Lucasfilm, alongside with Daisy Ridley, are currently trying to get actor John Boyega to reprise his iconic role as Finn in the upcoming Star Wars New Jedi Order film, being directed by Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy. If true, this will have Star Wars enthusiasts and fans of Boyega's potential of Finn abuzz with excitement. Despite Lucasfilm's commitment to exploring new characters and storylines revealed at this year's Star Wars Celebration, insiders close to the studio suggest that the return of Finn could play a vital role in bridging the narratives of the Star Wars sequel trilogy in the upcoming upcoming project featuring Daisy Ridley's character Rey Skywalker. While no official confirmation has been provided by either Lucasfilm or Boyega's representatives, the rumor mill has been rife with discussions about the potential direction of the upcoming Star Wars New Jedi Order film. The possibility of Finn making a comeback can only have fans speculating about the plotline and the relationship between Rey and Finn. So, yeah, they kind of go on. It's like I said, it's a little fluffy. I won't lie to you guys, but it's definitely something that has to have been discussed. It's definitely something that had to have at least happen, whether this is the time it did or not, And like we end up in episode 9 with Rey and Finn. We have like I always say, he was supposed to say, Rey, I love you, and then she was supposed to like turn him down, and then they took that. Yeah, they took that out of 9, and now when he's
yelled.
No, now when he's going into the sand pit, he's like, Rey, I got something to tell you, and it's that he has the Force, which doesn't actually make any sense. I don't know why they left that in the movie. I don't know why that Finn moment is left in the film. It doesn't.
I don't know why a lot of shit's in that movie, Jason.
But but I'm saying, but but I mean, that's just that's due to taste. There are bad calls. I agree with you, but it's like that one right there. It doesn't make sense that that's left in the film. It just doesn't. It's weird. It's the weirdest one. But anyways, that said,
the weirdest one.
Yeah, it's the weirdest because so J.J. Abrams can make bad calls all day. But he goes and he has this idea that Finn's going to tell Rey he loves her.
Mm-hmm.
Then he cuts that, decides not to do it. Then he leaves it in the movie, and we're supposed to assume that he's about to die. Like, it's one of the, if you're like looking for things to cut because you need more time, that's like a given. Like that's a hanging plot thread that you just introduced for no reason. And why is it still there? It doesn't. That one makes zero sense. All of the other stuff you could just.
I agree.
It's all.
I'm just wondering if it's the weirdest one.
I mean,
Kylo seeing Han ghosts is weird too, right?
But that's salted to taste. You know what I'm saying? JJ thought that was tasteful.
Sort of seeing an Ewok with humans living on the planet that they just show up out of nowhere.
Once again, salted to taste. But that other part is like a piece of fruit in our spaghetti
here, buddy.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's like that's like just a piece that does not belong there. It's not like JJ's taste that he would want to like. That's just, it's a weird one. It's just it's the weirdest thing left in the edit. I would say is my point. Sometimes you like watch a movie and you see like little like remnants of something. Like, isn't there like some remnants of the squid from Goonies or something? I can't remember now.
Octopus.
The octopus. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they said, "What about the octopus?" Oh yeah, at the end, and then you never saw it. They just talk about it at the end.
Yeah, it's like that's a weird one. Why it's left in, but probably was because they couldn't cut the scene in the right way or something. But anyways, what was I saying? Finn coming back though, like. When we end up at the end of episode 9, Finn has used the Force That's like undeniable. So they end up in a really, really weird place if he's not in this, because now there's like, I don't know which way they'll take it. Do they have a romance and they are classic Jedis? Because she has those Jedi techs. She's following them is what is the implication anyways.
Rebel moon lighting. Jason.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, but I mean, that might be like, that might be why he went his own way, or why he went a different way, or if attachments aren't on the table and like he's into her.
She's like, I was thinking a whole different kind of attachment, buddy.
Yeah, or maybe after the war, he decides, you know what, I want to start a farm with Rose and bang it out and make a couple babies. That's possible. Post-war, and the war's over. You think you defeated evil forever, and you're like, you know what?
Yes.
I don't want to be a Jedi. I just want to.
It's all done.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If I had an option of hanging out with Rose on a farm, on a sex farm with Rose, or hang out with Daisy Ridley
really
and read books.
Now I gotta.
Yeah. That chick's weird.
I don't know. Jason.
You guys secluded. You don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, but, I don't know about
that one. But no, I mean. So, anyways, though, like the other way is like they have like a dogmatic dispute about how things should be done. They disagree on the fundamentals of Jedidom, and they go their separate ways.
One is like, I think we should take them from their families. The other one's like, I don't. And she's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm taking them from the family.
Taking them from them. Like, maybe
it's the only way to replace the labor pool. Get the kids, right, Jason?
Yeah, there you go, China. But
China,
China
at this point. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, what was the factory we had like a while ago that got like busted?
McDonald's. No, they had like McDonald's too. Yeah, it was like 30 McDonald's were doing this.
30 different McDonald's.
And they just signed in like Iowa to get rid of the bro, it's coming.
Yeah. Like what is the like, what's the justification for the McDonald's? Like their little hands could get in there and clean the shake machine. I don't get it. But anyway,
no one could touch the Grimace but a child. It needs a virginal hand. You know what I mean? Like the Grimace burn will seed the soul of the ill. You know what I mean? The infidel. Yeah. Right.
So anyways, this article though is not the LRM article is not saying like they have a source. They're just going, there's rumors. So I kind of not taking this particular article, is very important.
So you put this in the Roca category or the Snyder category?
I don't know enough to say what that means.
They're making fun of themselves over this, so I can use this analogy and not get in trouble.
Yeah.
That he's a little less reliable than say Snyder, but that's okay. That's their joke, not mine. So
one guy's a scooper and one guy is a famous nerd, and famous nerd hears stuff, but not in the same way that reliable scooper does, right? Okay,
correct.
Yeah.
I'm simplifying it down to left or right here.
Yeah.
Not politically, just god damn it, motherfucker. Everything's a fuck. Got to premise everything.
Yeah, you do. No, yeah, it I mean, like I said, like they're not saying that they have a source on. If they said that they had a source saying this and like blah blah blah, I think it would be an exclusive, and it would be a bigger story. This is just there's rumors, and of course there's going to be rumors because, like I said, it's inevitable that the discussion with John Boyega happened or is going to. It doesn't mean. Yeah, I mean, even if he says I wouldn't do it in 20 interviews today. How many times have we seen that? I mean, this is in reality, it's going to be like, yeah, come 17. Back and do Star Wars, and we'll do that movie that you want to do. You know what I mean? Like it'll be, or get like a multi-picture deal out of it. Or it'll be something. He'll get something that he wants out of doing it. So I think Finn, number one, I think Finn will be back. I just don't know if it'll be this movie. I don't think it's.
What if they give him Pinocchio? Like they just give him Pinocchio. Like they give him Pinocchio.
He's just like,
you get Pinocchio.
John Boyega.
What I want. I just want to be a real Boyega, right?
Yeah.
Pinocchio, Boyega. Never mind. I tried.
Yeah. Bestman says it hasn't been a reputable outlet since Umberto left. Even if it wasn't exclusive, I'd be dubious. So Bespin's not buying it, and yeah, and
Mario Royals was pretty good, but he's not there anymore either. So
when it comes to when it comes to like this particular one, it's like there's going to be like those those outlets that just make up stuff. And I'm not saying LRM. I'm not saying anybody. I'm being neutral on it. But there's those outlets that just continually make up stuff, and I think they will probably just put this story out saying that it's like a story they had, and then if it happens, then we got an exclusive. But it's not. It's just like in that instance, fan math, guesswork, whatever you want to call it. Because I don't think he's going to be in this one personally, though. Like I said, I don't think it's going to happen. I think that just that Star Wars Disney flavor doesn't seem to line up with Rey and Finn worked together but couldn't get it done. It's like, why is Rey struggling to get this thing moving? What's the fucking holdup? You know what I mean? And
COVID, they have space COVID.
Space COVID. Yeah, it has to be. If they go and they say that the whole gang got together and couldn't do it, then it seems lame. And she seems dumb, and it doesn't feel like their flavor. Their flavor would be Rey didn't have her friends for the last 15 years. Therefore, you know what I mean? And then teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Eventually. Turns out she's an anti-vaxxer. They all got vaxxed.
Oh no!
Do it. What?
She's like one of those like hot chicks that's like, yeah, I'll tell right wingers whatever they want to hear for lots of money.
Right.
But yeah. Bestman says there's outlets who fan math certain character returns, Thrawn, Finn, etc., and run them as exactly. That's my point there. Is Boyega will eventually probably be back, so then it'll look true at some point. And there's just no way that they went to make a Rey movie and we're like, oh, who was Finn again? I forgot. That didn't happen. They definitely had to come up with an explanation in their story's logic about why Finn isn't there, what Finn was doing, or what Finn became, or whatever.
Just put him on jury duty.
On jury duty.
They wanted a new government. Then you got to do jury duty.
He's
out for 3 movies.
They had one of those Trump style defendants who just keep stalling the courts out until they give up, and so he's like been on this jury duty for 15 years. So
yeah, it turns out C.O. Bibble's still alive, but he's like space OJ.
Yeah,
and he's been on a murder spree, getting away with it for.
Yeah, Bestman says, I dug into the Boyega thing. We talked about it. They definitely talked about it. Yeah, I know. I didn't want to go and then start saying your stuff. You know what I mean? I didn't want to so yeah, if you want to say what you heard, by all means, say it and I'll read it. That way I'm not, giving your shit away. Like one of those moms that's like, oh, Rob doesn't like his Star Wars toys anymore. Do you want him, little boy next door? I wouldn't do that to you, Bestman.
But my mom did not do that. My mom made me bring my toys to her, and then she smashed them with a hammer.
Oh, that's called
that's
child
what my
abuse.
mom did. Yeah, that's what my mom did. Happy Thanksgiving.
Right. Were you thankful?
87 was a rough year for Rob.
Yeah.
It's a tough year.
I actually remember 1987, and I'm like 7 years old, and I'm like, this was a shit year.
It wasn't a good. Movies were really not good, too.
Movies weren't good. Nothing was good.
Revenge of the Nerds 2 had Leah Thompson in it. It was a step down from the first one.
What are you talking about? Courtney Thorne-Smith, come on.
Howard the Duck didn't do
well. Shane says, I thought we'd see Finn become a Jedi after TFA. Disappointed that or something more didn't happen. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what's funny was like as the nerd narrative goes here, I mean, we got JJ who says, no, the lightsaber doesn't belong in his hands. It goes to Rey. And Rey's the Jedi. And then we got Ryan who's like, okay, you said that, so he's not a Jedi now. And then JJ's like, oh, no, that's a better idea that he's a Jedi. He's a Jedi now. And it's like, and what's funny about it is it's a backtrack. You want to know why it's a backtrack? Because what you would have done was you would have somehow put 2 lightsabers into the mix. Then you would have had both of them fight off Kylo, and that's the only reason why they like lived, as opposed to Rey just happening to have amazed him in the moment and confused him.
Rey teaming up with Kylo, and then those two use sabers.
But
and Finn gets a horse.
A space horse, yeah. But
so it's a stupid movie, Jason.
Yeah, the last one is a stupid movie.
Really never want to see it again.
I'm okay, like, and I am okay with Finn becoming a Jedi and it having been something that was going to emerge.
Yeah.
I never liked the idea, but I was always even okay with, in the end, like, why is Finn the best fighter pilot in the galaxy? Well, Poe. It's because he has the Force. Why is Finn the stormtrooper who's so exceptional and and also it's because he has
the awakening wasn't just one person, it was multiple people.
That's
versus
what
a
we
chosen
were wondering.
One. I thought that was it. But see, Jason, I learned from the fucking Matrix sequels to never ever fucking speculate.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. You will always come up with something that you think is better than what they did.
I have a new rule for myself for going forward with that. Is if there's like a prophecy and an implication of one, and it's never said or defined, they don't know what they're doing. They're just making it up, and they're going to come up with it later on. So don't take it too seriously. That's my take. After the prequels, after the sequels, Battlestar fucking Galactica.
He can't take Star Wars seriously. He thinks it's a joke.
It is kind of a joke, yeah.
And you better say nice things about Elon Musk, or Amber Heard will come over to your house too, like she did his when she left Johnny Depp. Yeah. They get triggered when you say Amber Heard, Jason.
Amber Heard.
Just remember whose house Amber Heard went to when she.
Honestly, dude, I'd probably put up with her shitting in my bed. I'd probably be like,
Jason, I'm not trying to trigger these folks. They're not thinking about Nook. These guys just get
I'm
angry.
saying I know where Johnny Depp was coming from when he was dealing with that level of crazy. So I'm like, you know what? Sometimes, it's okay. Don't do it again, please.
Don't do it again. What if he does? What if he finds another one?
So this is kind of funny.
Hold on. It's like if Paul McCartney found another one-legged model who stole all his money. Would we be laughing? You feel bad for the first one, but the second one, well, you did that to yourself.
Yeah. I mean, it would be kind of cool though, at one point to bang a one-legged chick. Anyways, Bestman says,
I'm not saying it isn't. It's just funny to me. He was on Howard Stern. I was at a job interview. I know you got to speak, but fuck him. No. I was at this job interview when Paul was on Howard Stern, and he was dating that model. And Howard's like, "You getting a prenup?" He's like, "No, love is love, man." He's like, "You dumbass! Like, you got to get a prenup." And I'm like, "Well, Howard, he's bitter because of his divorce. But no, he's if you're Paul McCartney, you got to protect yourself." Right?
No, if you have any serious amount of money at all, and you're marrying somebody that you haven't known for 15 years or something, yeah, definitely. And sometimes people are nice, and then they just become terrible. That happens too. Yeah, sometimes people just change into terrible people. So you never know. Yeah,
I was nice when we first started this show. Remember?
No, I don't remember that at all. I've always remembered you being like
you go back. I was
a curmudgeon. You were
being nice. Well, I thought I was being nice.
No.
I remember it differently.
You were cruel. You were very cruel. I cried after the first shows you did. I cried after. So the Bestman says,
glad to know I brought a tear to your eye.
Breaking: the Ahsoka special look is exclusively at the one remaining Blockbuster in America. There's only one VHS tape available to rent. Yeah, he made a joke that it was going to be on MSN, and people were like, "Where's it at on MSN?" Like they were like taking it really seriously and like mad at him. And it was like, and I was just like, "Yeah, now say it's going to be exclusively on AIM if you
real player,
if you message, real player."
Yeah.
So on Threads, I wrote that it was going to exclusively be premiering on Quibi. So,
dude, you're just getting Katzenberg's hopes up. It's back.
It's back. Are you serious? You fucking serious right now? Are you guys doing it? You guys gonna do it like in landscape and portrait mode? Because that's fucking cool, right? No, it's not, dude. That sounds dumb. That sounds really fucking stupid, bro.
Everyone wants an 8-minute. Maybe Quibi was the way to do Star Wars. Nice 4-minute long episodes for you get 50 of them though. Because we got to keep the budgets down.
I wouldn't mind if they did something that was in the webisodes wheelhouse.
Oh,
That
you
was
really?
fun. Yeah, I like the
You and
concept.
Gendy Tartakovsky should talk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Gendy, get Gendy back. I say,
Get
you
him.
know.
I say. I told you he'd be perfect for an indie animated series. You
Mm-hmm.
should go watch Primal. You'll see what I
Yeah.
mean.
No, I mean I watched. I just knowing how he handles kinetic energy and Samurai Jack and stuff. I could see how that
He's
brain
gotten
could put them
better.
together. Mm-hmm.
He's
I'm sure.
gotten better.
Yeah. I mean, he's been taking classes. You know, he did he did a GQ he did a GQ interview, and like he goes into like the basics of animation. Though it's actually really good. I showed it to my kids. It's actually really good for like
No,
explaining the
I'm just
fundamentals.
imagining him at night court. Like, night classes, Gendy. No, they meant night court. Damn it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he has a class that you can learn to animate. He gives a class, or he took a class.
Oh no, he's definitely just taking some classes at the community college on like storytelling and animation. Jonesy, thank you for being a channel member, and Skywalker's Academy, and everybody's a channel member supports the channel. I appreciate it a lot. And Patreon supporters and the supporters on the old, what's that app called? It's called Spotify, on the old Spotify app. Yeah, I appreciate that too. And and remember, you could get the show as a podcast. So if you can't watch the show or you're on the road, you want it, you could just flip over on Spotify, and the video's there. You could go between a video show and a podcast on there. That's what I like. Anyways, so Jonesy, thank you, says if Finn returns, the most important thing for humanity is that they shade his lips properly. Rob, you know how important shading the upper lip is, right?
It's ridiculous.
Did you see that somebody on Threads?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's stupid.
It makes me laugh.
Kathleen should just troll people.
Rob,
she's like, and we're shading the upper lip, because you
Rob,
fucking.
it's only because you're a brilliant artist that it's funny. Okay, if you weren't a brilliant artist, then it would just be stupid. But I won't say what you showed me very recently is something I saw of yours, and that was amazing. All right, Skywalker's Academy says the only other way a tear can be brought to your eye, like a mother can, by your best friend. I don't know what you're talking about, but it sounds emotional. That's why I like to read them live on air. But Primal is a must watch.
Yeah.
Primal. That's like the. It doesn't have any dialogue, correct? It's just like cavemen.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
And
then pet dinosaur.
So, Bespin now says the Ahsoka special look that was released exclusively on Asatru's social features Kira, Snoke, Starkiller, Luke Skywalker, and Boba Fett. So, there you go, Amy, Tora. Bespin has confirmed that Luke Skywalker is in fact back.
Bespin's starting a beef war with Meg.
Real Ben Maynard says, so all jokes aside, with them moving that first look, are there any upcoming Disney related events or anything that the first look could drop at? And honestly, I don't follow the Disney stuff enough to know or to have heard anything on that front. We have on the 23rd, so less than, about a little over 2 weeks away, we hit the 1 month mark on Ahsoka. That's when the marketing is going to begin. But getting people going, this is the worst marketed show of all time and all that stuff. And it's like, no, this is really, they don't actually usually market the stuff too much until that 30-day mark. That's when
we want them to spend most money. Spend more money, right? What do you want?
Yeah. No, I mean, you do want word out, and that's the whole like thing that they've never mastered. I think you were mentioning it yesterday about one of the shows, like Flash or something. It's like, if you market heavily too early, then people become desensitized and they just don't notice that it's here or it's coming out. But then when you do like the big end blitz, there happens to be that 1 or 2 weirdos who just don't pay attention and just don't even catch it. So I don't know if there's a right answer. I think it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation on starting early or not. I think it depends on the time, the IP, what it is, all that stuff.
Jason.
Yeah.
This is a true story. All right.
As a truth, did I read it on As the Truth Social? Yes, I did. Go ahead.
2 or 3 weeks ago, I went to go see a Transformers movie. You remember this?
Yeah.
On my way, I called up a friend I hadn't talked to a while who's in t-shirts, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, what are you doing? I said, I'm on my way to see the new Transformers movie. He goes, there's a new Transformers movie coming out.
Yeah.
I'm like, you literally have the license for the movie. Like the shirt your company makes is in Walmart right now. And I know you had to come across yeah, but I don't know when this stuff comes out. I'm like, it's literally your job to know. So like, there's always someone, no matter at what level, right? You could go, it's never going to fucking pay attention properly, you know? Like,
yeah, or they just didn't watch TV and movies, and they don't look at buses when they drive by and stuff like that, you know. I don't know, I guess I have to assume those people just do exist, and that's where, like, that's why I honestly think that whole friend group thing that I'm not seeing at the movies anymore, I think that being broken by COVID is, who could quantify it? Not me, but it's a lot of money is a lot of money has been lost just from that sort of thing. I think from that, whatever broke up that, because that's like, I wouldn't call it straight out community, but it's like a small piece of film community that those people were a part of. And now they're just going by themselves, like with their girlfriend or boyfriend or who are their buddy, but it's like groups of 3. You don't see those groups of 10, 15 like you used to see, like a whole row of friends. It's just not happening. And is it because like half of the friend group is disinterested in the films? Maybe. I suppose that's possible. But when, you know, Batman and Indy are fucking eating shit, I gotta think like
Flash and Indy.
Yeah, Batman. That was
called the Flash.
Nobody saw it for Flash. We all saw it for Batman.
Don't. That's why it made some money. But the reason why it didn't make money is because it's called the fucking Flash. So. It should have been called Batman and his little troubled friend. Jason, don't you find it ironic? Just pay attention here for a second. Like
really ironic, or like
in the last 8 months, right?
Okay.
DC has put out 3 superhero movies with characters who all have bolts on their chests, and 2 of them also have red costumes.
Yeah. And
you don't think that doesn't wear on like the average person who's just nonchalantly paying attention, you know?
You know, I had a 4th of July little get together here, and people over, and I not people who are into this stuff necessarily, just like very normal people, and 2 of them said that they were sick of the multiverse stuff. Like, I'm a little burnt out on it at this point.
Except Spider-Verse is doing well, and fucking Homeboy the Daniels just won a fucking Oscar for Best Picture.
And they're
tired of Marvel's multiverse shit. Here's the thing, man. People roundly
they're not.
agree.
They're not. They actually said that one of these people believed that Everything Everywhere All at Once is what kicked it off. And I'm like, no, that's not even true. That movie probably got made because of this other multiverse. But they're, like I said, your average person is getting a little bit, because it's Back to the Future Part 2, bud. And everything is Back to the Future Part 2.
Not a good movie.
But people want Back to the Future Part 1.
Right.
Or they don't want Part 2. Like Part 2 goes with, you know, you need a...
There's no multiverse in Shazam and fucking Black Adam. So that doesn't explain that. There's no multiverse with Morbius.
But it's in everything all the time, and it's like,
fucking Spider-Verse is kicking ass right now at the box office, so that doesn't exactly hold true.
So Rob, if you have one thing doing that one thing, and then you have a bunch of other things doing that thing, and they're all failing, it means the one
only
thing
one other thing did
proves
the
it?
one thing. Yeah, but only one thing held its code on that.
Okay.
The Flash was holding its code on multiverse.
Watch.
The whole point of
the
story.
Multiverse thing is done, bud. It's burned out. People are gonna get tired of it, and we're gonna see like the only thing that might do it, in my opinion. I'm
not out here to fucking advocate. I told you. I believe that when the Infinityverse shit was done, they should have pulled out of cosmic stuff and gone with boots on the ground, Daredevil type stuff, right? And fucking the monsters, and bring in the R-rated with the monster stuff. And then wrap up a couple of the Guardians and shit, and then, you know, bring in a Fantastic Four and build back up a cosmic. Because one thing I learned from comics, Turtles works great when it's a little bit of everything, but when it's all cosmic turtles and all foot ninjas, you get tired of it. That's why Turtles is brilliant, because it would jump around. But they've all leaned in on one fucking thing. And the average person seems to be, man, with Marvel fans, you bring up what's your favorite Marvel movie, inevitably Winter Soldier ends up on that list, and they're not doing too much of that. They just abandoned that type of Marvel movie.
Right? Yeah, I know. And like I always say, Winter Soldier and Ragnarok are like the two I like the most, and that they're very different. It's like I like it when it takes it to the extremes.
Well, they tried to give you more Ragnarok, but it didn't work out.
Yeah. So Justin says, thank you for the $5 super chat, Justin Westwood. He says, do you think the Rey movie is being thought of as a trilogy? So I would say no, in the sense that I don't think that they're thinking in trilogies anymore. I think that trilogy has just been a marketing kind of concept, and it fit with the sequel trilogy because it was connected to two other trilogies, so it had to be just to follow form. But I think that they're thinking of it in terms of serialized content now. I think that's where it's moving from. That's why this went into work under Lindelof like so early and for so long, is because they're trying to develop something larger. So, but also, if it comes out and it makes Indiana Jones money, then there won't be anything else to it. That will have been that for now. But I would imagine if it does moderately well, that we do see as the sequels popping up to it. And when you have Rey training two new people, there's just a lot of potential there, because I would imagine the first one will spend a lot of time with Rey and then give some time to the new characters who hopefully are very good and connect. But then eventually they would move on to them getting their full movies, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. I have a theory about this. I've held off on until this got brought up.
Yeah.
I sort of feel that the Man's Goal movie is a standalone, but I also think it's a prequel to this movie specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So
there was an article about this, by the way, from Kennedy. Yes. I don't buy it, though. Kennedy says the movies connect. And I think people are misunderstanding, or number one, she's probably just talking out her ass a little bit. But it's like, so there's always a chance that the Rey movie talks about like, shit Glog the Great, and shit Glog the Great was, is the hero of that movie.
Jed.
Yeah. There's a chance it does something like that. But when you like really read what she's saying, it's just like, it's like a theme. And it's like the first Jedi that ever started, and then Rey starting the first of New Jedi. It's a new beginning for a Jedi. It's so
one of their biggest missed opportunities was not making Kira Rey's mom, dude.
So dumb.
Like making Solo a prequel or a sequel prequel to Episode 8 was the smart move.
And Kira could have, and they wouldn't have had to have changed much in that. She could have been high up in the criminal underworld working with Maul, and that's how you know what I mean. She ends up meeting Palpatine's son, and gets her pregnant. Makes sense.
Well, she should have fucked Solo, but
Solo. Yeah. My Solo fucks. Just saying, my Solo fucks.
Yeah. Do you think when you leave your ex-wife, you go right back to your previous ex, right, Jason? Almost got it out of him, folks. Got that close. I'll get you one day, Wards. One day I'll get you.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. I saw a couple of my exes after, and I was like, oh man, you look old. I'm a piece of shit. Do you think the Rey movie is going to be thought of as a trilogy? So no, the answer is no. But I do think it'll be a series if it's successful. And I think that what Lucasfilm needs and wants is to be able to get into that what's next Marvel mode. And like the sequel trilogy itself would have just been good if it was just like what's next, as opposed to like, oh, we got to wrap this all up in episode 9 now. We don't know how. See. Let's move on. So it would be better, I think, and that's what I'm hoping. Kev, I asked Kev. I said, Kev, what is your favorite HBO series of all time? And it's Dream On. He likes Dream On.
Because it was the closest thing to porn he had to watch when he was a kid.
That was
well, that chick who played his ex-wife or whatever in that
wasn't it like
the voice
Terry Hatcher or some shit?
No. But she was she's the voice of Pacha's wife in Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, yeah, Shane says they don't need a trailer for TV to drop months before it comes out. I would sub to HBO just as Curb or Game of Thrones would come out, not months before. Yeah, I agree with you there too, Shane. Like, it's when somebody's like, oh shit, I could do this right now. Yeah, I'll do that. And then they go and then they resubscribe or they watch it,
Well, you know who's been putting proof to this? Mm-hmm. Who's been proving this true financially for a while? is Nintendo. When Nintendo started the Nintendo Directs, remember before they used to talk about games and this shit was years out, right? And then people were like, fuck, we have to wait 9 years when they fucking talk about a game. And so they started doing these Nintendo Directs that would go, and the game comes out today or fucking next month, or like within an immediate window. Within an immediate window.
Yeah.
And so like that is
like Mario 35, like Mario 35, and then like it comes out like a few days later or whatever.
Hey, look, cool. that has done them a lot more goodwill than people give them credit for.
I wish it was. I wish I could still play it. I loved Mario 35. I was good at it.
Like announcing a Metroid Prime logo for, and then not putting the game out doesn't help anything.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean it helps people on YouTube grift folks for money, but
it just says you could dream. You could dream. Ben says, "Yeah, I consider myself a very casual Marvel fan, but I'm burnt out on it. I'm over it now. I don't feel like the Marvel movies are a priority." So Ben is
all they need is some wins. You'll be back in the game,
Oh sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, they haven't been. There was a thing. Bespin was talking about it. I didn't read it myself, but he said I should check it out. But there was one of the people said that they almost zazzied Echo. They almost Batgirled it, Echo, and like shelved it or something.
Let's call it Zazzy. Zazzified.
Zazzed.
You got Batgirl for their tax write-off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they almost did it to Echo, but then I guess like there was like a lot of there's a drought, so now they can use it. Star Wars Meg says not really a Marvel fan, but love the Spider-Verse trilogy. Gwen, yeah, Spider-Verse trilogy is so good. You know what I really love about it is when my band was like doing pretty well at one time when I was young, and the guy at Guitar Center knew who we were, and we were buying a new drum set, and then he started like asking like what kind of stuff like we liked, and as we're telling him, he's just like, "Yeah, dude, cool, man. Yeah, you like the Big Muff? Cool, man. Yeah. You need like patch cords? Cool, man. Yeah, that's good." And then he's all like, "Okay, guys, you guys are gonna just drive your car around here, and then we'll load the drum set in." Okay, cool. And then he leans in the car and he's like, "When you get home, open the kick." Okay. So we drive home, open the kick. It's fucking full of pedals. And he was quitting, and he just like loaded the kick drum up with stuff that our band wanted. And like, it was rad. It was so good because it was like a lot. It was a lot. I couldn't have afforded any of that then. And but when I was watching the new Spider-Verse movie and Gwen keeps her spider's suit in her kick drum, I was like, that makes a lot of sense. That's pretty smart. I liked it.
I just like when people are like, I hate multiverse, and they literally say I like Spider-Verse. I'm like, it's got verse in it.
Yeah,
it literally has the word verse in it.
Okay, but that doesn't make people stupid because you
just like shit done well. They're not doing it well.
But that's
miss that opportunity.
Like so is like I love Indiana Jones, right? But I also don't really like the adventure genre, like as my primary thing. I get kind of bored in National Treasure and its lessers. It's like at that certain pace, I really dig it. It falls below it. So it's like, and that's where I like Spider-Verse is the exception, not the rule. If I took every single multiverse movie and line them up, I'm like, yeah, most of these aren't like Spider-Verse. So to me, it just doesn't count.
You like the Flash?
I do like the Flash.
It's a multiverse movie.
Yeah, and I also
like Loki.
No, and I'm over it.
You like Loki? It's a multiverse show,
and I'm not excited about any more multiverse like stuff. Like I like a Back to the Future Part
Loki 2.
But when every single thing is that, nothing matters now. That's just how I feel about it. It feels like nothing matters. And it feels like it's just kind of.
Then, as a Gen Xer, you should be totally into it.
I'm a cusper. I keep telling you this. You need to learn to respect it.
Nothing matters is your motto.
No, that's a Metallica song called "Nothing Else Matters," and it kind of sucks. Anyways,
no, it doesn't. You're not.
It kind of sucks.
No.
Not generally a Marvel fan, but she liked the Spider-Verse thing, and that's the thing. And Meg isn't even talking about that stuff. She's just saying she doesn't really watch the Marvel films. But I am more like I just want to see like now I just want like a good Spider-Man movie with Spider-Man being Spider-Man, not like Spider-Man and his Amazing Spider friends, like in the No Way Home movie. Like that's a fun movie, but like I just feel like all of the good stuff has probably been done in it, and it's time to let that rest and just to like tell some.
Well, the
other
time to let that rest
story.
was after Infinity War. Once you put all those characters in one big ass movie, you gotta pull back and kind of go back to Spider-Man. The last of it should have been No Way Home, which is a multiverse movie, which everyone loved. So after that, like, you got Spider-Man at Ground Zero, then he should be your Captain America for the next wave of shit,
Yeah,
Boots on the ground, Spider-Man. Break all the characters up. There's no more Avengers, so people don't go, "Where's this character when Spider-Man needs help?" They should just put them all away. But they didn't do that, so I've just seen these companies do this so many times in comics that it shocks me when I'm like, have they never learned their own lessons here?
yeah,
You know?
yeah. I mean, like I said,
DC loves to reboot a multiverse. They go, we invented the Infinity Crisis to eliminate all the multiverses, only to have to do 0 Hour less than 10 years later, only to then do New 52, which then gave you a bunch of other multiverses that they didn't have to undo. Like they never learned their lessons.
No, and don't get me wrong. Like I said, I like a bit of it. Like I don't dislike the Flash. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't dislike it. It's just that like I at this moment right
they've
now,
hung 50 movies on is a problem.
It's just there's just it's just too much of that shit. Ahsoka trailer tomorrow? I wouldn't think so. That'd be rad if it was, but I would imagine it will be like closer to a month out, right? But who knows what it is now. Bespin says Mangold also said he wanted his film set 25,000 years away from the Phantom Menace because he didn't want to have to touch bases or other movies or any other canon he had to be handcuffed to. Yeah, he doesn't want to go like you can't do this because of Darth Bane did this or some shit like that, and that makes complete sense. But on the Kennedy thing, like I said, if Mangold has already said, it's about a little Jedi named Baby Jasper, and he discovers the Force. It's out there. It's not impossible for Ray to go like, this is the fucking, the tomb of Baby Jasper who discovered the Force.
Mangold also said they couldn't have Key in the movie because he was too busy making another film, and I'm like, no, because he was never part of the plan. So he
my adult son disagrees.
Yeah, he politics too, Bestman.
Yeah, but yeah. So it's like I don't know. I think it might be referential, but I'm with you though. I don't think it's gonna really be anything huge, especially when it's 25,000 years before. It's like all that can mean is like, oh, we were going to allow fucking like Baby Jasper the Great Jedi, but now we don't allow that because Baby Jasper the Great Jedi had
he
a
keeps
bad
bringing
baby.
he keeps bringing up the 10 Commandments, the movie. And I'm like, I don't want to see this Prince of Egypt film, dude.
When he says that, like it's like, is he just going like fucking like? It sounds like he's going weird, but is it a persecuted people? Like, are we going to have is it like essentially like, oh, you're a witch or you're a Highlander and you're blinded like a heretic, and then do all of the heretics sort of band together, and then that's when we have our first cluster of Force users brought together who then he says, also goes on to say they might not be called Jedi because branding comes later. People like, they don't start branding themselves as like witches. They are branded witches as time goes on, that kind of thing. So I'm kind of curious if this is going to have that kind of.
Nah, he meant it's a Christian movie and they're bringing back fucking what's her face. Yeah.
Dude, I hope Kirk Cameron's in it. He'd be a great Jedi. Kirk Cameron.
Yeah. That's what he's talking about.
Maybe Boner.
I take him at his word. I don't. You're giving everyone a lot of. When people say they're making a 10 Commandments, I just assume that's what they're making.
Yeah,
they're getting what's her face.
But what does that mean for Star Wars? For Star Wars, it ends up meaning somebody's talking to the Force, somebody's getting Force burning bush, but also somebody's leading people through the fucking desert is also what that means.
If it means we get bush Muppets, then I'm in.
Yeah,
and
it's like
bush Muppet.
But well, I mean, but here's something else like worth considering on that front too, and maybe there's something to it. But I mean, we've never thought it was crazy that Taika's movie was a gladiator movie. He's known for it with Marvel stuff, kind of, to some degree. He has aspects of it. And then like there was just like things about the movie that made it seem like they could go that way. So, and then is he doing Spartacus and he's doing Moses? Are we having sort of like a callback to the VistaVision era of Hollywood, maybe, and remaking those films of that scale, but with Star Wars that are one-offs?
Buena Vista Vision, Jason.
Buena Vista Vision. I see what you did. Oh yeah, for the nerds who don't know this nerd fun fact, one of the cool things about that they did on the original Star Wars film was because they wanted the visual effects to look good, was they got the big VistaVision cameras that were for like a really large screen. This large screen came about because they were afraid TV was going to kill film. So they're like, if we make the screen so big,
4x3, like Citizen Kane.
And so if they made the screen super big with this really big vista like landscape and lens and everything, TV couldn't compete. Let's just outdo TV. Well, that fell out of fashion by the time Lucas and the 70s guys start coming up and taking over Hollywood. Well, what they did was they figured out if they did the visual effects in the VistaVision camera with the aspect ratio, then when they shrunk it down to the normal film size, they didn't lose as much quality. It still looked good. So by making it bigger than shrinking it, they didn't lose much. So that's how they got some of the visual effects on the original Star Wars to look like really good, and or to like look good at that aspect ratio and that scale and that size of film that they were doing, and for cheaper. And so anyways, it all of that, there's always kind of been a link to that era of Hollywood and Star Wars. Is that what they're doing though? Are we going to see a theme in these films if we get Mangold and Taika's movies? Are we going to start to see like that kind of concept coming into play? Because it could happen. Spider Star Wars Make says Jason used to jam with spiders from Mars. He played it left hand and made it too far. Oh no. Yeah, but anyways, Meg says that I had a stomach bug, so I had a secret invasion of my own. Wasn't much to marvel at. Meg,
she drank the grimace.
Meg, you have to what you did, Meg. We know you got your number, Meg. Bestman says we can't trust Kennedy's comments these days. Anyways, she's constantly being contradicted. Yeah, I know. I think she comes up with these like soundbite ideas because I think. There's like the thing they want to do. There's the thing the corporation is going to do. And then there's the thing that's going to happen.
We're home.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, and I think she also knows that when the films do take 4 years apiece to come out, then there's going to be those people who are like, yeah, that's what she always said, you idiot. So you just listen to what she said. But it's like, she also said the other thing, you know? So Meg says,
we're going to have to do this show for 4 years with nothing.
Yeah, probably.
That should be fun.
Well, no, that's hopefully what's not going to happen. I mean,
biggest sinkhole I've ever put my time into.
Oh yeah, you have no idea, man. You have no idea. But,
Jason's like, welcome to Fortnite.
Yeah, welcome to Fortnite, brother. Yeah. Meg says, Jason, it will be tomorrow. This local trailer. Tomorrow meaning anytime from now until August 23rd. Yeah, exactly. I would expect it to be around that July 22nd window is probably what we should be looking at. I'm just guessing. And that's if things play out how they classically have. I have no idea what their plan is at the moment. All of the stuff that's been going on that I've been hearing about is happening now. So, oh shit, we're going to end the show. We're out of time. And my Mac is not charging for some reason. Even though the power plug is into the thing.
I remember, folks, I wanted to do more show, but Jason said no.
That's true. Yeah.
He did the worst thing. He said, I'm not saying no, but I'm not saying
yes. Yeah, that's what I said. But yeah, but I think we did all of the news stories anyways. So take that, internet.
Yeah, go make your video now complaining about us fans.
You know, Elon's good because he's really into what I'm into too. I really like Elon.
And if he's not good, Mr. Beast is just as good. All these rich people are going to save us. I just know it.
Mr. Beast, I'm going to go eat some Feastables and cry myself to sleep. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go. It's not about spaceships.